If we look at the on-demand elasticity use case, Nutanix can help organizations burst into the public cloud to handle seasonal demands, or dev test, for example. This allows you to expand your operations without the need to build out data centers, while retaining your tools and third-party integrations. With Prism's management plane, you can now manage clusters across private and public cloud. Now let's get started. By logging into the clusters portal, here we can see all the organizations and I can manage my cloud accounts. Here we can see there is AWS and Azure account setup. To add another account, we select the cloud provider, give its name and add the cloud account ID and prepare the account with AWS CloudFormation. We need to log into the AWS console. We will then create the CloudFormation stack to give Nutanix privileges to create clusters on the AWS account. Once that's done, it can be verified. Now we can select the AWS regions for cluster to be allowed to be created in. This takes a minute, and once done, we're ready to create our clusters. To create your cluster, click on the Create Cluster. Provide the name and select the cloud provider, the account, and the region. Now, we can select Frankfurt as we have a VPN connectivity set up already. Then you select your VPC. This will automatically be discovered, but we could create a new one. Click Next and select the instance. As well as a number of nodes, your redundancy factor, you need to select the SSH key to securely log into the VMs, then select your AOS version and tier, and if you want, you can add files. You could then bring up the cluster securely by adding the IP address that will access the clusters. You can quickly review the configuration and click on Create, and that's it. Here we can see the instances are booting up. We can see that in just 28 minutes, my 3 nodes cluster is up and running. If we log into Prism Central, we have registered the newly created cluster in, and if we launch Prism Element, we can see the AWS i3EN metal as the model of the hosts. We can now use the same familiar Prism Central console to manage my environment on both private and public cloud. If we want to create a VM from Prism Central, we simply click the cloud environment and provide the details, and the VM will be created in the AWS cluster. We can power on the VM and connect as we see here. We can see the VM is successfully created. Now, let's look at how we can lift and shift workloads from both private to public cloud using clusters. It's not necessary to re-architect the workload. Providing app mobility minimizes the risk and saves on cost. Once in the cloud, your applications get native access to AWS services. We've integrated with cloud networking, so virtual machines using Nutanix clusters get IP addresses provided natively by AWS network infrastructure. So this means VMs get native access to AWS services without additional network overlay. Let's look at this private cloud environment, which is running a 2-tier task management application. If we want to migrate this application over to the public cloud on AWS, we can use Leap, our DR orchestration solution. Under Recovery Plan, we have a pre-created recovery plan. If we look at the recovery plan, we can see we can specify the order by which the VMs are brought up and we can specify scripts that need to be executed post-migration. We need to specify our network mappings. Now we can execute the recovery plan. Click on Failover, provide my source and our destination, which is in the cloud cluster, and that's it. Once the failover happens successfully, the machines will be brought up and scripts will be executed. Then we can simply log in to the application. Here we can see both VMs have been brought over successfully. Now from the new instances, we can simply launch the new application and log in. Now, let's see how we can optimize those cloud costs with the Nutanix Clusters Hibernate feature. Hibernate allows you to move your data to cost-optimized S3 storage. It will then uninstall the Nutanix software. It will stop the EC2 bare metal instances, so you're only then going to pay for the Nutanix software and EC2 bare metal when you need it. Now, when you're ready to resume, you can simply bring it back from hibernation. The EC2 bare metal instances will be reprovisioned based on a prior configuration. The Nutanix software will be installed and all the VMs will be brought back up with the data preserved. So, we have an AWS cluster that has been active for a while. We don't need it at present, so rather than delete it, I can simply click Hibernate. Confirm the intention and then click Hibernate again, and this will initiate the hibernation process. Now, let's look at another cluster we hibernated earlier. If we want to bring it back to its prior state, we select Resume, click Resume, and the process is initiated.